Hello student, welcome to online lecture series on Instrumentation and Control, Mechanical Engineering Semester 4 subject. Myself Kapil Ram, Assistant Professor, St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Farooq Nagar, Gurugram. So student, this is our last lecture 17 of Unit 4. We will cover the following topics regarding the concept of control system and its classification as closed and open loop system, and also we derive the transfer function. Also we discuss the controller concept in the control system, why there is a need of controller system, and we discuss the frequency response analysis like Nyquist plot in control system. Okay, let's start with our first topic, that is introduction to control system. So as you know that system which is played a very important role in various industrial process systems. So how you define the system in terms of input and output? So how you define the system, that is arrangement or a combination of different physical components connected or related in such a manner so as to form an entire unit to attain a certain objective. The student, in various industrial process systems, we deal with certain kinds of systems in terms of input and output. Next, if we define about the input which is fed to the system, the stimulus or excitation applied to a control system from an external source in order to produce an output is called as input. So system, combining above the definitions, we can say that a system plus control will give you a control system. Okay. Now if we talk about student control system, so it is nothing but it is an arrangement of different physical elements connected in such a manner so as to regulate, direct or command itself to achieve a certain objective. So if we talk about difference between a system and control system, so how you differentiate this system and control system? So as you see in the diagram, there is a input in both the quantities are same. When you feed the system or when you feed the control system, the input is same, but the desired output you will get in the control system, a proper output may not be desired. Okay, so that is a major difference between the system and a control system. For example, a fan, when you switch on the fan, it rotates with a certain velocity, and according to the output it gives you the air flow. Okay, so this is the system. Or a fan with blades without regulator can be a system, but because it can provide a proper output, that is airflow, it cannot be a control system, but provide desired output, that is it cannot be controlled airflow. So system with a feedback give you the desired output. So can a fan be a control system? Yes, of course, a fan with blades and with regulator can be a control system because it can provide a desired output. So input is you switch on the supply, and control element, depending upon the regulator mode, the speed of the fan varies. So output is our airflow, that is the control airflow output is vary. If we talk about the difference between open loop and closed loop control system, student, then we can first define the open loop system, and from its word it says that a system in which control action is totally independent of the output of the system is called as open loop system. जैसे कि आप देख रहे हैं स्टूडेंट की इस ब्लॉक डायग्राम के अंदर एक कंट्रोलर मैंने लगाया हुआ है, रेफरेंस इनपुट्स मैंने वहाँ फीड किया हुआ है, प्रोसेस के ऊपर कंट्रोल का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हो रहा है, मगर यहाँ फीडबैक हमारा एब्सेंट है। तो फीडबैक जब हमारा नहीं होगा तो वो ओपन लूप कंट्रोल सिस्टम कहलाएगा। So what are the advantages of open loop closed system? That is, it is simple in construction and design. economical, easy to maintain, generally stable, convenient to use as output is difficult to measure. So these are the advantages of open loop closed loop system. What are the disadvantages of open loop closed loop system? As they are inaccurate, as there is an absence of feedback system, so they are unreliable. Any change in the output cannot be corrected automatically. So these are some disadvantages of open loop closed loop system. If we talk about the closed loop system, student, that is a system in which the control action is somehow dependent on the output is called closed loop system. So here what we have, the feedback system is present in the closed loop system. As you see, this is the forward part, and there is an error detector, error signal, and the control output fraction of the output is feedback to the feedback transducer, which gives the feedback signal to the error signal. So combining the reference and the feedback signal, we get the error signal, and these error signals are reduced or rectified with the help of controller, and that optimized signal is feed to the plant, and we get the control output. What are the advantages of closed loop control system? That more accurate even in the presence of non-linearity, high accurate as many error signals is corrected due to the presence of feedback signal. So bandwidth is very large, facilitates automation. Sensitivity of the system may small to make a system more stable, and the system is less affected by the noise. Okay. So these are some disadvantages of closed loop control system. If we talk about the disadvantage, student, so the disadvantage we have that the system is very slow in nature due to the presence of the feedback. Okay. So this is all about the general discussion of control system and classification of open loop and closed loop control system. Now moves towards the next topic, that is transfer function, and it is the overall transfer function, that is the ratio of Laplace transformation of the output to the Laplace transformation of the input signal under the assumption that all initial conditions are 0. So this transfer function can be for the plant also and for the whole function also. So as you know that a system is defined as input and output. Okay. So as you know that system transfer function is denoted by GS and output is represented by VS, and US is nothing but as your input. So we define the intermediate signal Z, also known as error signal, shown as in the figure ZS. तो आपको GS के आउटपुट पे आपको क्या मिलेगा, ZS इंटू HS मिलेगा, और HS is the feedback element. Okay. So using with the help of the above equation, we can write it as YS is equal to, output equation will become as JS into ZS, and ZS is nothing but your error signal, that is the reference signal XX minus your feedback signal. And what is your feedback signal? That is the fraction of the output YS into HS. So you got these two equations, and with the help of these equations you can equation to reduce as YS is equal to GS XS minus HS YS. Move all the terms with YS to the left hand side and keep them term XS on the right hand side. जैसे कि आप देख रहे हैं कि हमने इसको YS को एक राइट हैंड साइड लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में ले गए हैं, और इक्वेशंस में हमने YS को कॉमन लिया, 1 प्लस GS HS और GS इंटू XS. ये हो गया हमारा पूरा कंप्लीट सिस्टम का ट्रांसफर फंक्शन. ओके स्टूडेंट्स. Now if we talk about the types of feedback, students, as you know, when we are using the closed loop control system, which is very prominent in control systems, so we have two kinds of feedback. One is the positive and the other one is the negative. If we talk about the positive, student, the positive feedback adds the reference input and feedback output. The following figure will show it like as the जो दोनों एडिशंस हैं हमारे यहाँ पे H और RS की जो सिग्नल्स हैं वो एरर डिटेक्टर के ऊपर एड अप होंगे. तो साइन विल बिकम इन द डिनोमिनेटर एज 1 माइनस G इंटू H. ओके. And if we talk about the student negative feedback, so reduces the error between the reference input and system output. So following control system diagram will become as RS minus HS. So we generally use the negative control system in our practical industrial process systems. So in the denominator part, you have G over 1 plus GH. Okay, students. So this is all about the concept of transfer functions and its classification in terms of feedback and uh, positive and negative feedback system. Next topic we have, student, the introduction to control system controller, very important in the closed loop systems, where what we want to achieve is the control output at the desired level at final state. So for that we need a certain kind of controller. Generally in practical industrial control systems you use PID controller. So controller is a device that generates an output signal based on the input signal it receives. So the controller input is nothing but as the error signals, what you receive from the reference input minus the feedback signal. So that error signals is reduced by with the help of PID controller, and that optimized signal is fed again to the controlled plant which you want to operate. Okay. So first one is proportional controller. If we talk about proportional controller, student, the controller output is directly proportional to the error signal. So proportional controller, there are two conditions and these are written below. That is, deviation should not be large. It means there should be less deviation between the input and the output. That is a very limited restrictions, as you know. When the system will become higher order based system, then it will do not behave in a linear manner. It will behave in a non-linear characteristics also. The deviation should not be sudden. So now we are in the condition to discuss proportional controller. As the name suggests, in the proportional controller, the output, also called as actuating signal, is directly proportional to the error signals. So as we know, आउटपुट इज डायरेक्ट प्रोपोर्शनल टू एरर सिग्नल, तो इसको हम मैथमेटिकली कैसे लिखेंगे? ए टी इज डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू द एरर सिग्नल. So removing the sign of proportionality constant, what we have is nothing but Kp and Kp into error. Okay, the proportional constant is also known as controller gain. तो कंट्रोलर का जो गेन है वो एरर के साथ मल्टीप्लाई हो गया. तो इट इज़ रिकमेंडेड दैट Kp should be kept greater than unity. If the value of Kp is greater than unity, then it will amplify the error signal and thus amplified error signal can be detected easily. So अगर Kp की वैल्यू कम होगी तो डेफिनेटली जो एरर सिग्नल का जो एम्पलीफायर होगा, गेन जो एम्पलीफाइड सिग्नल होगा वो कम होगा. तो इसलिए जो सिग्नल के जो हम एरर जो है डिटेक्ट करना हमें डिफ़िकल्टी महसूस होगी. Also, what the advantages of proportional controller we obtain is, let us discuss some advantages. Like it helps in reducing the steady state error and thus makes the system more stable. Slow response of the overall damped system can be made faster with the help of this controller. So what the disadvantage of proportional controller is that due to the presence of controller, we some offsets in the system also available. So it also increase the maximum overshoot of the system. Okay. Now second one is integral controller. As the name suggests, integral, that is the output, also called the actuating signal, is directly proportional to the integral of the error signal. Now let us analyze integral controller mathematically. Also we know that in integral controller, output is directly proportional to integration of the error signal. So what we do is we integrate the error signal. Writing mathematically, what we get, AT is directly proportional to 0 से लेकर t integration AT dt. Removing the proportionality constant, what we get it as ki into 0 से लेकर t AT dt. Okay. So what is the advantage of integral controller? That due to their unique ability, they can return the control variable back to the exact set point following a disturbance. That's why these are called reset controllers. And disadvantage, it tends to make the system unstable because it responds slowly towards the produced error. We have the third controller as derivative controller. We never use derivative controller alone. It should be used in a combination with other modes like PD, PI, ID, because of its few disadvantages which are written below, that it never improves the steady state error. and this is very important point कि we want to reduce the steady state error as much as possible. So it produce saturation effects and also amplify the noise signal produced in the system. So if noise signal is amplified, definitely the signal becomes more unstable, and definitely plant system become unstable. So now, as the system suggests in the derivative controller, the output called as the actuating signal is directly proportional to the derivative of the error signal. सो मैथमेटिकली अगर हम इसको एनालाइज करें स्टूडेंट, तो ये कुछ इस तरीके से बनेगा, इट इज़ नथिंग बट डिफरेंशिएशन ऑफ द एरर. तो प्रोपोर्शनलिटी कांस्टेंट को अगर हम निकालेंगे तो ये बन जाएगा के डी इंटू डिफरेंशिएशन ऑफ एरर डी. Okay, so but the advantage of different derivative controller is that improves the transient response of the system. Now we have only the three controllers, but with the help of their combinations we can make more controllers like PI, ID, PD or PID controller. So first we take the PI controller, as the name suggests, a combination of proportional and integral controller. So equal to the summation of proportional and integral error signal. तो मैथमेटिकली आप इसको एनालाइज करोगे तो ये बनेगा के आई 0 से लेकर टी ई टी डी टी प्लस के पी ई टी. दिस इज द डायग्राम स्टूडेंट्स व्हाट यू गेट इन द पी आई कंट्रोलर. तो ये आपके कंट्रोल सिस्टम, ऑटोमेटिक कंट्रोल सिस्टम में काफ़ी डिटेल में पढ़ोगे आप इसको. तो हम लोग यहाँ पे एज ए मेजरमेंट इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से हम इसको पढ़ रहे हैं. So you have to analyze what means by integral, what means by differentiation, what means by proportional, and how they work, advantages and disadvantages, and their circuit diagrams. Okay. Now proportional and derivative controller, as the name suggests, that it is a combination of proportional and a derivative controller, and equal to the summation of proportional and derivative of the एरर कंट्रोलर. तो मैथमेटिकली अगर हम इसको बात करें स्टूडेंट, तो ये बनेगा के डी इंटू डिफ्रेंशिएशन ई टी प्लस डी टी प्लस के पी इंटू ई टी. So this is the equation what we observe in the equation, the diagram with what we have. Okay. So you should not write the mathematical derivation part, because it is used in the control system. So where we have used to write the basic introduction and along with the advantages and disadvantages. Okay. Now combination of the above three controllers, PID controller we have. So it reduce the system error to 0 faster than any other control. So whatever the objective is to make the system fast and reduce the system steady state error to 0. So PID controller has the ability to do those things. So this is the PID controller block diagram is look like this, and this you see there is an integral, proportional and derivative controller. Okay. So what the proportional action in PID controller makes smooth control without hunting. Integral action automatically collects the offset. Derivation action responds quickly to large external disturbances. This is the block diagram and this is the equation. You do not need to write the equations, but you want to explain the each and every aspect in a brief detail. So this is how we can write the classification of PI or PID controller, through which we can reduce the error and make the steady state error to a less possible point and make the system fast and accurate. Okay. Next we have student frequency domain analysis. That is, as you know that the time domain analysis, transient domain analysis, we can categorize into two categories: transient, time domain. So next we have the student frequency domain analysis. We have the time domain analysis, but frequency domain analysis is much more compatible than time domain analysis, because it is very fast and calculation is very low. Stability of the closed system can be estimated very easily. Transfer function of the complicated system can be determined experimentally by a frequency test rather than time domain analysis. So effects of the noise disturbance and parameter variations are relatively easy to visualize. So analysis can be extended to certain nonlinear control systems. This is so how we analyze the frequency domain analysis for a given transfer function or given plant with the help of certain graphical techniques, body plot, polar plot, Nichols plot, MN circles. Okay. Frequency response laws are used to determine the frequency domain specification to study the stability of the systems. We have also the Nyquist criteria uh, in frequency domain analysis to analyze the stability of the systems. Let's see what is the Nyquist stability criteria. So as you know, Nyquist plots, which are comes under the category of frequency domain analysis, are the continuation of polar plots for finding the stability of the closed loop control systems by measuring the frequencies from minus infinity to infinity. Means are used to draw the complete frequency response on our open loop transfer functions. We have the Nyquist stability criterion and works on the principle of argument. That it states that if there are poles P and zeros are enclosed by the S plane, then corresponding GSHS plane must be encircled to the P minus Z times. So we can write the number of encirclement n as n is equal to P minus Z. So these are the rules for drawing the Nyquist criteria, students. So you understood it better in control system, students. We can discuss it in measurement system. Is that with the help of frequency domain analysis, you can uh, analyze the control system desired output in a better way rather than the time domain analysis, because time domain analysis need more time to for calculations and then analyze the system. So in frequency domain mapping, there is a use of frequency mapping up and down and left to right. So so that's why we use body plot Nyquist criteria more frequently in our complicated high order system processes for better understanding of the stability of the systems. Okay, students. So this is all about the Nyquist and frequency domain analysis. I hope कि students आपको ये topic समझ में आया होगा. So from in this lecture, it is we conclude all the control system classification, transfer function, and feedback topologies. We also discuss the uh, concept of Nyquist criteria, frequency domain analysis. I hope कि student आपको समझ में आया होगा. तो आज इस lecture में इतना ही. तब तक के लिए thank you.